Now 7. You take a look at the front pages. Unstoppable. Meanwhile, Apotheosis.
Okay.
Which is Greek.
Okay. A big moment.
Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it? But this is what Michel had to say.
Apotheosis.
Our dream is to go to Europe. We cannot fight a team like Real Madrid toe-to-toe. We dream of getting into Europe and taking it game by game. Luis, as a player, how do you treat what your manager is saying? Because it'd be impossible not to think about La Liga. Do you want him to be more positive and be like, no, we can do this, we can win La Liga? Or does that fall on deaf ears? Is that necessary? Is he saying something to the media and something else in the privacy of the dressing room?
He's got the experience of being a former player. He's got the experience of being a manager. And even though that he hasn't been at that top, that close to maybe have the chance of winning La Liga, he knows that the message has to be that one. We are far away from what we expected in the beginning of the season. This is not our competition. Of course, we cannot deny that we want to be in the top 4 because we are very close to Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid. But definitely indoors, I'm sure that the message is, listen, guys, game by game, let's get closer. Let's see how it goes because definitely we got a chance here because Barcelona is not doing well. Atletico Madrid is not doing well. So why not? We could be the ones. But the message is to try to put the pressure away and try to be focused on sending everyone the same message. For us, the top and the target is to be at the top 4.
Blah, blah, blah. Why not come out, Frank, and say, yes, we're going to win it?
Yeah, but the thing is, yeah, you're going to win it. But I want to be pessimistic a little bit. I want to be in some players' brain
you've had to go at Barcelona,
right now, where
Girona.
you know. But I'm going to explain. I'm going to explain to you why. Some players didn't expect to play the first roles, and they know that if next year they're going to play in Europe, Girona's board is going to recruit players to be better in Europe. Therefore, some of the players who brought them there is going to be kicked out. This is what it is, and it's part of the game, and it's part of our career. But how some players going to react? Do they go for it and say, okay, it's a nice adventure, let's go for it, not think about the future, the future and next year what's going to happen? Or some of them is going to slow down a little bit, maybe subconsciously, but they're going to slow down to make sure next year they're going to play. So what's going to happen within 2-3 months is going to be very interesting about Girona.
Frank, you're talking rubbish, aren't you? They're not already thinking about next season coming and replacing him. They're just thinking about winning La Liga.
Well,
no, cynical.
Well, you don't need to have the best player in the world. I'm talking about better player than the player we are actually right now. That's what it is.
Frank's just an anomaly, yeah? Selfish anomaly thinking about himself.
I imagine so. If I'm in that locker room in Girona, I am certainly not thinking about next year's Champions League or any of the European competition. I'm thinking about the fact that, you know, we can do this. That has nothing to do with us. That's not our fight. Those are the guys that are expected to win. Us, we're here for the experience. This is going to be great, and hopefully we get into Europe, and hopefully we keep our good players too. According to Frank, those players are not going to be there. Regardless, all I'm saying is, if you're Michel, you're deflecting all of that, right. But you get inside that locker room and you tell your players, hey, we can do this.
Okay.
We're good enough to do this. We're gonna take it game by game, and we're gonna go through all the cliches and everything, and all the conversation, all the preparation that we need to do in order to be ready to face each challenge in front of us. But we're good enough to do this.
Any more negativity you'd like to add to this, Frank? This lovely story of Girona?
Well, you know what? You know, we can think like that in a perfect world, but tell me, Ali, that it's completely impossible what I just mentioned.
It's not an impossibility, Frank, but I'm thinking about the players inside that locker room now. They're not thinking about the guy that they're going to bring next year.
Okay, if you say so, I believe you.
Oh, yes, that was genuine.
Mind you, by the way, isn't Aleix Garcia one of the players that Barcelona is looking for?
Yes, he is.
One of the star players of Girona?
Yeah, very much so.
Okay, so we don't have to wait till next year, apparently.
Real Madrid, though, maintain their fact that they are favourites after that late winner from Rudiger yesterday. Real Madrid papers enjoying it. Winter champion, the winter of Rudiger celebrations there. Ali, of course, you're on this game. We've seen this a bit, haven't we, from Real Madrid this season? Bit blur, a bit not particularly impressive, but one way or another they get the job done.
Well, you say a bit blur, I say a lot blur.
Yeah,
it was the game that you thought it was going to be against Mallorca, because Mallorca puts a lot of numbers behind the ball. They're going to be organized, so then the responsibility is on Real Madrid to be able to create chances, to have movement with the ball and without the ball, dynamic movement, passing, and in a passing game in which they dictate the pace of the game and they're going to speed it up and they're going to have vertical passing and movement coming out of the midfield. None of that. None of that from Real Madrid. Predictable, slow, and slow, and slower, and slowest. And then they are, I think in some ways, fortunate that they run into a goal by Rudiger, which is the same thing that happened right before the break against Alaves, away from home. They're playing a man down. They run into a goal by Lucas Vázquez. It's 3 points against Alaves. They're winning games. And guess what? They're the ones with the 3 points. It is a story that we have seen time and time again in Real Madrid. Whether it's the club, whether it's the history, whether it's the current players, whether it's the manager, they simply find a way to win this sort of games. And these are the sort of games that at the end of the season add up to a title.
Yeah, exactly. And Luis, what we've seen and what's changed from Real Madrid, and Carlo Ancelotti addressed this, after that defeat against Atleti, where of course they conceded 3 goals, everything changed defensively, and boy, what a change it has made. We saw last year how important a good defence is. Barcelona were brilliant. We're seeing it this time from Real Madrid, and how if they're going to win the title, it's mainly going to be because they've been able to defend so well for the first half of the season.
Yes, Dan, and so well without the key players, because no, no Alaba or no Militao. So that's something that needed to be done, and is part of give the credit to Ancelotti, that once again that man management has been proved that is fantastic, because giving the leadership to Rudiger, that he was exceptional in the last game, to Nacho, what he's in, not all out because of the red cards, but the players who had to be replaced, or Camavinga on the left side when there was no left back, or Lucas Vázquez in the right side when there was no Carvajal. So the mentality of this team is always fantastic, magnificent. Once again, not showing the most brilliant games, not showing the most beautiful football, but once again getting the results, giving the performance that it was needed. And the problem probably is that in the beginning of the season, Real Madrid never said about we are going to play to the level of excellency. That those are the words that Xavi used. So now everybody, when they are getting the result like today, last goal, last game, 3 points for us in the last minute, everyone is saying, yeah, 3 points, but you were talking about excellency. Ancelotti never said that. Ancelotti never talked about that. He only said, let's go game by game. We're going to try to do, no, we are not going to buy players. But at the end, they are getting the results. So no one is talking about the way the Real Madrid is playing, but everyone is talking that Real Madrid is doing it again. It's not playing their best football, but they are winning. And that's the most important.
I thought Xavi was your friend, Luis.
Yeah.
Oh,
it is my good friend, but I think that was not the best words in the beginning of a season.
Hey, when Luis is in Norway, nobody's listening.
That's not very nice.
Luis is in Norway, so nobody's listening.